Okay, sorry for some delay. I'll adjust the camera. Okay, shall we start? शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये दोर्भिर्युक्ता चतुर्भिस्फटिकमणिमयीमक्षमालां दधाना हस्तेनैकेन पद्मं सितमपि च सुखं पुस्तकं चापरेण भासा कुन्देन्दुशङ्खस्फटिकमणिनिभा भासमाना समाना सा मे वाग्देवतेयं निवसतु वदने सर्वदा सुप्रसन्ना पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कविता वनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिम् गोष्पदीकृतवाराशिं मशकीकृतराक्षसं रामायण महामाला रत्नं वन्दे नीलात्मजम् अंजनानन्दनं वीरम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् मनो वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रभञ्जनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परम् व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामलम् नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रायेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः हरिः ओम्। Okay. First of all, it is our Mahabhagya that on the Ramanavami day we are able to take a little time and go through Ramayana. Before we start, let me pray on behalf of all of you that Sita Lakshmana, Bharata Shatrugna, Hanuman Sameta Sri Ramachandra Murti, Paripurna Anugrahata Bhavatu iti ado prarthayami aham sarvesham puratah. So we will continue. We are in a very interesting part of Ramayana, one of the most famous sarga of Ramayana. Because whether people read full Ramayana or not, this is one sarga people read. So we are in that sarga now. Some people read only a few sargas. This is one of them. So this is the 100th sarga in Ayodhya Kandam, Kaschit sarga. The charm of this sarga is in a very nice way, Valmiki has, under the pretext of Rama asking some questions to Bharata as to how because there was no reason to ask these questions. It's hardly a few days. You know, if you meet after a year, then these questions make eminent sense. But in the pretext of asking these questions, so beautifully Valmiki brings out how some grand principles of administration, management, how do you, when you are a head of an institution, when you are a leader, what you should do, all those ideas are so beautifully brought out by way of, as though Rama is asking Bharata, are you doing this, is this happening, is that happening, and so on. So I think this is just a pretext for really bringing this whole set of beautiful ideas. It is also to show the prowess of this character called Rama. Rama is a multifaceted character. Rama is Rama, Sadhu Dharma, Dharma Vigrahavan, all these are there. That is one perspective, that he is embodiment of Dharma. But Rama is also a character which is the ultimate when it comes to Vyavahara also. That is the charm of Ramayana. That is the specialty of Ramayana, that Rama is brought like a human being, and all the challenges, all the nice things that human beings go through are brought out so beautifully through Rama. So you see multiple facets of Rama in Ramayana. So what we see today is Rama as a head of an institution, Rama as a person who is not only, Vigrahavan Dharma, Sadhu Dharma Parikrama. It is not only that, he is also somebody who is adept in Vyavahara. So that is what comes through this Kaschit Sarga. So last class we just started. I was just saying how these itihasas play a very, very important role in answering many things in our life. What are the goals of life? How do we pursue these goals? What are the governing principles of life? All these questions remain with us. We find answers here and there. But here is one text you will find itihasas are meant for it. It tells us about what should we do in life. And when we make an attempt to live a life, there are so many obstacles and pitfalls, so many ethical and moral dilemmas. How do we handle it? Because for those who are in Vyavahara, they will get into it one day or the other in a different context, in different situations. So we need some reference for it. Itihasas have bountiful of information to clarify us on that. Third, how did others handle it? I have an ethical dilemma. I have a moral dilemma. How did others handle it? And what was their experience? What happened when they handled it? Because if we know that, we may be better off. So again, Itihasa, we saw a lot of Dharma Sukshma at the beginning of Ayodhya Kanda. How this King Rama was really balancing this, Kausalya was saying, you are my son, you do what I want you to do. Lakshmana is saying, no, we'll sort it out. Nobody knows. It is all in these four walls. We'll sort out everything. We'll silence Kaikeyi. What kind of temptations, what kind of challenges, what kind of ethical and moral dilemmas, and how this character actually waded through that. Look at Bharata. For no fault of him, entirely in his absence, decisions are made and he becomes the Javabdari for it. He had to do so much of explaining at every stage how he handled it. So these are situations that we face in our life. That's why itihasas are very important. Something we can closely relate to. So many episodes that you see. And these kathas are required because we will find something to relate to. And there is something to learn from those. So this is another reason why itihasas are there. And finally, what is the ideal way of living? These four brothers in Ramayana, the Sita Mata in Ramayana, every character in Ramayana brings the gold standard of living. We need the gold standard. How much we can reach is point two. First, we should know what is the limit. What is this reference for us? So that is why itihasa. You see it in Mahabharata also. Itihasas are meant for it, that it teaches us all these principles of life. And that is why in this country, Ramayana is very celebrated. That is why in this country, Mahabharata is celebrated. Because between Ramayana and Mahabharata, everything that we require in our life is available. If only we take that perspective, with that Shraddha, with that kind of orientation, if we can see it, I think our life will become richer. And these characters, these great things that are brought out, the Avatara Purushas, are all there only to teach us some of these principles of life. That is why these two itihasas are very celebrated. Every one of us must go through it in whatever details possible, because we will only become kritagnyataha. We will only become thankful to what our life is at the end of the day. So with this, we moved into the 100th Sarga, where, as I told you, there are 70 questions to Bharata. Rama asked about 70 questions. And the word Kaschit was invoked 72 times. In one shloka itself, there are 4 times Kaschit. So 72 times he invokes it. It's a masterpiece on governance, administration, and leadership. Wonderful ideas that we find. It displays the prowess and the administrative power of Rama. All these we saw. And last time I summarized it so nicely in this way. There are about 14, 15 broad ideas which are discussed in these 72 shlokas. Honoring and respecting great people. Importance of wise counseling. We saw some shlokas last time. It is very important in life that we have wise counseling. Otherwise, sometimes life can be very challenging. We may do things which may be very foolish. There is a lot of value in wise counseling. Rama brings it so nicely with a few shlokas. Importance of secrecy, keeping away from fools. He says 1,000 fools cannot do what one wise man can do. So I think all these are very, very important. Competency mapping. Today we talk so much about competency mapping, job allocation, who is the right person for the job. Rama talks about all that. He says, how do you identify the right kind of people and put them in the right job? Law, justice, and punishment, there are ideas. Taxation and treasury management. He says, how do you do taxation? We'll see some of that shlokas we didn't see. We see some of those today. Army and defense, there are issues. How do you do intelligence gathering? It's a very important part of administration. And there are some nice attributes he talks about. How do you do intelligence gathering? Marks of a great city. Today we talk about smart city. There is a talk of a great city there. He says, is Ayodhya like this? He's asking. Then urban development and quality of life, there are some shlokas. We'll see those shlokas today actually. Business development and economic growth. How do you take care of people who bring business to the society? Rama talks about it. He says, how are you taking care of them? Are you making things easy for them? Ease of doing business, what we are talking today. All those comes in a different way, of course. We need to do that sort of an understanding. Accessibility to citizens and the public and the people. Leadership is all about it. Leadership cannot thrive by being in extinction. They are very poor leaders. Leaders must be accessible to the sevakas, to the citizens at large, if you are particularly head of the kingdom and so on. A couple of nice shlokas which he talks about it. Then he talks about 14 traps of a king, and also he talks about some great attributes of successful kings. Very deep ideas. Intelligence gathering, he talks about 18 different departments in which you have to do intelligence gathering. Within your country 15, outside your country 18. Like that level of detail is all buried in this sarga. So we saw a few of them. We will continue to see some more of them. So actually he started with honoring and respecting great people. See, it is very important. See, if you think about it at one level, although he talks about a conversation between a king and a king to be or a king who was, you will find all these make eminent sense in our personal life also. After all, running a family is like running a kingdom in some ways. Many of these ideas will actually reflect on our own personal life because family is an institution at the end of the day. Family is an institution. So many of the ideas he is saying would make eminent sense even for us when we have our own ashrama in which we are there, when we are part of an organization, when we are leading a few set of people. All these ideas would make eminent sense. That's how it happens. Look at here. Sakaschid brahmano vidwan dharmanityo mahadyutihi ikshwakunam upadhyayah yatavattata pujyate. See, the most important thing is that Kula Guru. These days, that concept has somehow disappeared. I remember my grandfather had a Kula Guru. Whatever he says, I very distinctly remember I have interacted with him when I have grown up because I have seen him. We had that concept that there is a well-wisher, a very learned person who has no desire for any of the materialistic things. His only desire is that his sishyas are no. That's why in Viveka Chudamani, he says, Ahetuka daya sindhu. That is the lakshana of a guru. Ahetuka, there is no reason. There is no particular reason to be a Daya Sindhu, the ocean of Daya, the ocean of compassion. That is a real Kulaguru. In fact, Ikshwakunam of the Ikshwaku race, the greatest fame is because of Vasishta. The importance of a Kulaguru, we don't even know today. Some of this concept as every family had a Kulaguru. Every family had a Vaidya. See, today, doctor, 100 years back, 60 years back, 50 years back, even 40 years back, a doctor, a family, concept of a family doctor was there. The doctor was responsible for your health. Today we have disjointed specialists. Nobody owns your well-being. Everybody owns, somebody owns your right eye, somebody owns your left lungs, somebody owns your little finger on the right. It's like that. Whereas in our scheme of things, there was a Kula Guru and there was a Kula Vaidya. These two are very, very important. So, Adav etateva sahavadati. Rama starts with that first. He says, Sakaschit Brahmano Vidwan Dharma Nityaha. Look at the Lakshana of the Kula Guru. He is Vidwan. He is well versed, well knowledgeable in all things. Dharma Nityaha. Right? He will be steadfast in Dharma. These materialistic things cannot distract him this way or that way. I keep quoting these from Taitra Upanishad also. Yukta ayukta aluksha dharma kamasyuhu, like that. That kind of people. Yatate tatra varteran tata tatra varteta. Look at how they, in a different context it is coming there. They are dharma nityas. Mahadyutihi, they shine like anything. By their sheer dharma nishta, by their sheer knowledge, they just radiate and illuminate. He is a Kulaguru. He says, Mahadyutihi Ikshwakunam Upadhyaya. They put you in the right track of whatever knowledge you need to lead a good life. Yathavat tata pujyate. They have to be respected for what they are. Are you doing that? That's the first question he asked. In this Kaschit, this is the first question he asked. Last time I jumped a little bit ahead. First he says, Kulaguru. Are you doing there is a pantha of how do we respect, because they take wholesome interest in our well-being, in our mumukshutva. They are interested in making sure that I get liberated. I get that peace of mind in my life. That's why they are very important. So that's what he says. Kaschid vinaya sampannaha kulaputro bahushrutaha anasuyaranudrishta sadkritarate purohitaha. So he is talking about his son, because one is Kulaguru. See, look at the context there. There is this towering personality who takes care of your entire well-being. But that person will have an equally competent person who will engage in doing things for you. Homa, Havana, Yajna, whatever is required, he will not do. But he will have an equally competent person who will engage on these things, because it is a Vedic society. Yajna was central to living. Everything, Vaidika Parampara is all about Yajna. Yajna is the central piece. That is why after Vivaha, you need what is called, Smarta Agni and Shrauta Agni. Today we don't do any of those. We need Shrauta Agni and Smarta Agni. And for Smarta Agni, Pratra Upasanam, Shayam Upasanam. For Shrauta Agni, Pratra Agnihotram, Shayam Agnihotram. Agnihotram is a Shruti Karya. Upasana is a Smarta Karya. So the Vedic living was centered on these activities for which you need. That's why he is coming. Kaschid Vinaya Sampannaha. He is embodiment of Vinaya. Vinaya Sampannaha, Kulaputraha, Vasishtasya Putraha, Parantu Bahushutaha. He is also, well versed in Shruti. Because finally, it is a Vedic way of living. Shruti is the basis for all of them. Rushutaha. Then Anusuyuhu, no envy. Anudrashta, Satkritaha Taste Purohitaha. They take care of your well-being. So you have this towering personality who takes care of you. and he's equally competent person who will engage in the activities that are to be for your well-being. So these two, are you taking care? They are the first set of people whom you have to respect, because your welfare depends on entirely in your ability to, taking and respecting them. So that is where it starts. Kaschid agnishu te yuktaha vidigno matiman rajaha hutam cha heshyamanancha kale vedayate sada. Agnishu te yuktaha, those who are competent in Agni Karya, because that living was, as I just now told you, centered on Yajna. Agni was central to our living. That is why if people lived like that, the Chitagni is from this Upasana. On the day he is married, the fire was created. That fire was preserved throughout. Any Smartha Karya is done, the fire is taken out of it and put back in it. The Anteshti also done using that fire. Fire is the direct Pradinidhi of Devas. That's why the first mantra in Rigveda, Agnim Ile Purohitam, Potaram. That's what it says. Agnimi Ile Purohitam Yajnasya Putam Potaram Ratna Dhatamam. He is the Hotar, he is the Devahutama, he is the Purohita, because he is the direct courier to, he is the Pratyaksha Devata. That was our conceptualization. That's why he is asking, Vidignaha, Yuktaha, Agnishu Yuktaha, Vidignaha. He must know all ways of how to do the Agni Karya. Vidignaha, Matiman, Rujuhu, direct. He is straightforward person. Rujuhu, Rujubhava is direct. Matiman, Rujaha, Hutam cha Hoshimanam. What is to be done? What is to be done later? Is he advising you properly? Because the life was centered around this Vaidika Parampara. Agni Karya was what life was all about. So therefore, is he properly advising you, and are you taking care of them? Kaschid Devan Putran Matran Gurun Putran Samanapi Vriddam Satata Vaidyams Cha Brahmanam Cha Bhimanyase. He said these people are very, very important. They only take care of your well-being. There's a list he has enumerated here. And what is the list? This is Devan. Devan Bhaveta Anena. Te Deva Bhavayantuvaha. Parasparam Bhavayantaha. Shreyaha Paramavapsita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Devan Bhaveta Anena. Anena means Kim? Yajnana. You take care of Devas with Yajna, and Deva will take care of you. By giving the, what is Deva? Deva is Panchabhuta. Agni, Vayu, Akash, Prithvi, Teya, Jala. These are the Pratyaksha Devata. I don't know why we have to look at many things. These are the Pratyaksha Devata. And today, if we have a problem with all of these, that means we are not doing Daiva Aradhana properly. It's a simple thing. That's why Krishna said, Devan Bhaveta Anena, Te Deva Bhavayantuvaha, Parasparam Bhavayantaha, Shreyaha Paramavapsita. We will reach the pinnacle of Shreyas only when we know this mutual dependence. That's why here also he says Devan. Then Pitran. Ancestors are very important. Bhagirath Pretna, we saw it in great detail. Ancestors are very, very important. 5 generations later, Bhagiratha was so concerned about, we saw in Balakanda 10 beautiful sargas. Ancestors are very, very important. Only in Sanatana Dharma we have understood it. We seem to be little bit wobbling away from that today. The greatest culture of these countries, we have the greatest respect for Pitran. That's why if there is a Pitr Karya, you cannot do Deva Karya on that day. It's very clearly laid out in our Smartha, in our Smriti. If you do a daily puja, you have a Shraddha today, you have to finish the Shraddha. After 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you can just do a Naivedya, no Deva Puja. Because Pitran are Pratyaksha Devatas. That is our culture. When there is a Pitr Karya, no Deva Karya, nothing. No Smartha Karya, nothing. This is the only thing to be done. None of the pujas are required, actually. That is our culture. So Pitran, Matran, Gurun, Matruh, Gurun, the teachers, right? Gurun, Pitrisamanapi, those who are equivalent to our father. There are a lot of people who are equivalent to our father. They have played the role of the fatherly role in many ways, in many In many families, it can be a Jeshta Brata, it can be a Putruvyaha, uncle. So many people may be there. They would have played critically the role of father, and we should have that Kritagnyata. Very important. That's why Putri Samanapi Vriddamscha. Elderly people bring a great deal of wisdom of life. They have to be respected. Vriddamscha Tata Vaidyamscha. As I told you, the Purohitas and Vaidyas are very important. They are the real, benefactors for us. So Vaidyamscha, Brahmanamscha, Abhimanyase. These, people, these the Brahmanas that are mentioned here are those who have only desire which is Brahmanishtaha. They have no desire in any of the worldly matters, no desire in money or anything of that. Their only desire is Brahma. They are Brahmanishtaha. Take care of all of them because it will only do good to you. So that's what he's saying here. Huh? No, what is happening? Is it okay now? Yeah. So last time we saw some shlokas on who should be employed. You depending upon the skill you employ, don't employ just like that. The continuation of that shloka is here. We stopped there actually, so I'm moving to the next shloka. He says, Kaschin naloka yitikan brahmanam stata sevase anartha kushala hyete pala pandita maninaha. He said, be careful about so-called many of the Brahmins. You have to be very, very careful. He is saying. So what is he saying? Loka yitikan. People who are very worldly minded. In fact, that clear definition, Manusmriti has 6 lakshanas for a Brahmana. He says, Adhyanam Adhyapanam. A Brahmin must be inspired only by knowledge, not by this, not by money, only knowledge. Nothing else must inspire a Brahmin. Adhyanam, Adhyapanam. Share it. Brahmin has a great joy of sharing knowledge. This is the second lakshana, right? Then Danam Pratigrihyam. You do some karya, people give. Don't ask whatever they give, you take it. You also give. Danam Pratigrihyam, Yajanam Yajanam. You do yajna on behalf of the other 3 because better you do. Because you are the only one who have read. They are the Yajamanas. You take the power of attorney from them and then you do it. This is all Brahmin is all about. Anything going out of it is not Brahmin. So he says there are a lot of lokayatikan. These are all very worldly people. Be very careful. That's what he says. Don't blindly understand. So rewards have to be done properly. That's what he's saying. Lokayatikan brahmanan tata sevase anartha kushalaha. They are not artha kushalaha. They are anartha. They are doing wrong things. They are not doing things which are right. And they are anartha kushalaha. Their kaushalyam is only in anartha, not in artha. They are good only in doing wrong things. That's what he says. Anartha kushalaha hi ete balaha. They are childlike. They are too simplistic. Right? Pandita maninaha. They will pretend to be panditas. Don't reward them like that. You have to be very careful. Because they should be shining in that moral high ground. Otherwise, they are not worthy. In fact, in Manusmriti, I think chapter 8 or 9, thoroughly it has enumerated. While people say, why are Brahmins put on the pedestal? So such Brahmins are too few. Only such Brahmins are put on the pedestal. Others are all not put on the pedestal. It is such a nice conceptualization of people which he is talking about. Dharma shastreshu mukyeshu vidyamaneshu durbudaha buddhiman vikshikim prapya nirartam pravadanti te. Be careful with these people. Nirartam pravadanti. They tell things which are anartha. They will learn all this. Dharma shastreshu mukyeshu vidyamaneshu durbudaha. They learnt all of them, but their buddhi is durbuddhi. They are doing it for wrong because they are worldly people. There are people like that. They are worldly people. Be careful. That's what he says. Dharma shastreshu mukyeshu dharma shastreshu vidyamaneshu durbudaha. They have not understood all these properly. The buddhi is durbuddhi. And because of that, buddhiman vikshakim prapya, they will pretend to be buddhimans. little bit, right? Prapya nirartham pravadantite. They will not advise you and do right things for you. So you have to be very careful. Don't blindly reward. That's what he is saying. That skills and rewards are to be properly mapped. That idea is what he is bringing through these shlokas. There are some good shlokas on justice and punishment, which are all, while he is saying that, it makes a lot of sense. Let us look at these shlokas. Kaschid nogrena dandena vrishamudvejita prajaha rashtre tavanujananti mantrina kaikeyi sutta. Hey Kaikeyi sutta, hey Bharata, you understand one thing. And what is he saying? Ugrena dandena. See, if you do too much punishment, Ugrena dandena. See, the punishment must be commensurate to what is happening. If you do Ugra danda, it creates a lot of counter effects. In the long run, they are unsustainable. If you can't do Ugra danda for something. So, Ugrena dandena, Brisham udvejitaha prajaha. That workers who are giving those punishments, the prajas are udvejitaha. They are so cut up and they are very agitated. It should not happen like that. While punishment is very important, it should be very commensurate. Punishments must be very commensurate. That's what he is trying to bring here. He establishes that principle of that. Because if you don't do it, people are very upset. Rashtre Tavanujananti Mantrinaha. If you know, such kind of ministers will be not liked by people. You have to be you have to tread this punishment properly. Don't just because you have power, don't just go and then overdo your punishment regime, because it is not going to work out in the long run. People will get very agitated. They would, have developed such a this thing for the mantris. That's the first thing he says. But there are nice things that he says. I find a lot of violation of that today. There are two very good shlokas we will see. He says, Upaya kushalam vaidyam Mrityu sandushane ratam Sharamaishwarya kamam cha Yonahanti sahanyate. He says, Upaya kushalam vaidyam. Today, only Upaya kushala vaidyaha santi. Upaya kushalam means I am a doctor, I am a health person. I find how to keep on growing the. There is one Subhashita which I read. Vaidyaraja namostute. You are. There is a nice Subhashita. It is coming out of my mind. Basically, what he says is, I am worshipping the Vaidyaraja, but Yamaraja is better than Vaidyaraja. Like that, there is some Subhashita. Because you suck out everything and then let me go. Whereas he takes me when everything is fine. Like that, one Subhashita is there. So what he is saying is Upaya Kushalam Vaidyam. That is one. He talks about a few characters. He says these doctors who are so adept in keep on creating more and more kind of a thing for you. That is Upaya Kushalam Vaidyam. Mrityu sandushane ratam. There are people who are actually, sandushanam. They bring disgrace. So I find this. There are people in the system all the time taking salary, working in the system. Their only job is to talk ill of the system. I have seen such people. Many of us have seen in our own way. Why should I say I have seen? I think many of us have seen in our own ways. He says, Mrityuhu sandushane ratam. He is always wanting to talk ill of that place which is feeding him. Some people have this. Some people this is a psychiatric condition. Some people this is their. They are all such bad people. This is the second thing he says. Then third, Shuram Aishwarya Kamam. If the Senadipati has so much desire to become, what is Aishwaryam? Ishwara Bhava. In other words, Adipatyam. So if the Senadipati wants to become the king, you have to be careful. So if the Senadipati wants to become the king, he has a Aishwarya Kama. So he says these three examples, if you don't finish them, they will finish you. That's what the last part says. He says, Yona hanti sahanyate. Hanti need not means killing here. We don't have to take a meaning like that. What he says is such people ought to be, you have to nivaranam of these people. You have to put them aside. If you don't put them aside, it will create a larger problem for the system, for the institution. So that is what he is saying. So he is saying you have to be very careful. There are such people that three examples he has given. He says such people are counter to what you are doing. So it is always good to keep them away. If you keep them with you, it will not serve the purpose. It will destroy the institution itself. There are some deep ideas of larger issues of how do you handle things and so on. Then two very nice shlokas. Kaschidaryo vishuddhatma ksharitaschapakarmana aprishta shastra kushalaihi nalobat vadyate shuchihi. He says, Kaschit Arya, good person. Some good person. Vishuddhatma is actually good person. Vishuddhatma. Kaschit Arya Vishuddhatma. Ksharitaha, he has been accused. Cha aparakarmana. Right? And he has been punished. He is actually a good, it means you are giving a wrong punishment to a otherwise a good person. He says the ills of doing it. He says, Kaschid Aryaha Vishuddhatma Ksharitaha Cha Apakarmana Aprishtaha Shastra Kushalaihi, without proper inquiry by people who are good in the Shastras, Na Lobat Vadyate Shuchihi. Such people should not be given a capital punishment, all kinds of punishments and so on. That is not good. That will create a serious problem. Don't do that. Never do that. And make sure that, see, this is what is called managing by exception. He is giving some important rules of, you don't have to get into nitty-gritty of what is happening, but you should know the governing principles of what should not happen. That's what a leader must know. Leader must know these what must not happen things very clearly. These are all no, non-negotiable. If you have sorted it out, by and large system will work. You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty of what are all things to be done, but you should clearly know these should not be done at any cost. It's called managing by exception. It's a theory like that which people talk about. That's what he's saying here. He is saying make sure that good people are not given punishment. That will come back to you in a big way. You will have a serious problem of administration if you have violated this principle. That's the first shloka. Second shloka I look at. Grihitaschaiva prishtascha kale dushtasya karanaha kaschinna muchyate choraha dhanalobat nararshabah. Again and again this is happening now. In today's society, this is what is happening. So what is he saying? Grihitaha. Dushtaha kale grihitaha. When he was doing a mischief, you caught him red-handed. Kale grihitaha. Dushtaha kale grihitaha. That is what you find there. Somebody who is caught red-handed. Right? Sakaranaha karanena saha. Kaschinna muchyate. Don't let him go. Let him scot free. Politician's son and go and run over a lady and he walks into freedom. This is very common in this country. You can go and kill some endangered species for 20 years, you can walk freely. You can take thousands of crores and walk freely. Nowadays they are not able to walk freely. They all have to go to UK or somewhere. And then we have to have a great effort to bring them back and so on. So he says, Grihitaschaiva prishtaischa kale dushtaha sakarnaha kaschid na muchyate choraha. Such people should never be liberated. And why are they being liberated? That also he says. Dhanalobat. They give money and then escape from the clutches of law. That is what he is saying. So these are the most guiding principles. Good people should never be punished. Bad people should not be allowed to let go by taking money. He says, Dhanalobat nararshabha. Na. Uchyate. Make sure that these things don't happen. If these things happen, there is a huge governance deficit and trust deficit. First it will be governance deficit. Then it will become trust deficit. People will mistrust the leader. the organization will go to doldrums. Bad things will happen, you will have no control on things. So he says, understand this is real justice. You have to make sure such things don't happen. See how profound these ideas are coming through these kinds of shlokas which Rama is talking about. Then it continues. Vyasane, at the end of this chapter it is coming. So I have collected it and brought it in one place. Vyasane kaschidadhyasya durgatasya cha raghava artam viraga pashyanti tvamatya bahushruta. Vyasane, during some problem which needs to be sorted out, which requires a certain resolve by way of punishments, whatever. Vyasane kaschit adyasya durgatasya. The person who may be an adya, rich person, or a durgati who is a poor person, whatever. Don't look at this thing at the back of it. Some may be adyaha, some may be durgataha. Is in bad state of affairs. Artham viragaha pashyanti. Right? Artham viragaha, which means, artham means something which tempts you. Artha viraga means you are without bias. Nothing can affect your decision. You should take decisions like that. You should not look at whether he is a rich man, he is a poor man accordingly and all that. No. Artham viragaha pashyanti tava amatyaha. Are your ministers bahushutaha? They are all well read. Are they doing their justice and punishment system on this basis? Have you ensured that? That's what he is asking. Kaschit tava amatyaha pashyanti artham viragaha pashyanti. Are they beyond these temptations and bias? Without bias, are they able to neutrally look at and then deliver judgment? That is good. Make sure that these things are not violated. If they are violated again and again, system goes for a toss. Governance, trust, deficit, all that will happen. So that is what he is bringing next principle of justice. Yani mityabhishastanam patantyashruni raghava tani putran pashun gnanti prityartamanushasataha. Yani mithya abhishastanam, punished out of falsehood. Mithya abhishastana, they are falsely punished. There was no fault on them. They were falsely punished. From patanti ashruni, from such people tears roll down. Yani patanti ashruni. Such people, who people? Mityabhishastanam yani patanti ashruni. That tears that rolls down the cheek of a person who was wrongly this thing for no fault of his or her. Such people's tears will destroy your family. That's what he's saying. It will not go anywhere. Today we think everything is only verifiable. If nothing happens, no. Dharma is, Dharma is not something which shows like this in black and white. Dharma nirantarataya, it is there. It is sanatana. It will not leave. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma hanti hato hanti eva. It will not leave. It doesn't have to happen immediately. This governing principle is very important for us to resolve all our ethical and moral dilemmas. Just because somebody is not seeing some effect is not happening today, doesn't mean the effect is not with us. Dharma is eternal. Dharma is sustainable. Dharma will never fire a wrong signal. It may take time. It may even take janmas. You don't have to get the punishment now. Sanatana Dharma believes that as you sow, you will have to take back all that you have sown. There is cost to everything that we do. That's what he is saying here. He is saying, Tani. Tani means patanti ashruni. Tani putran pashun gnanti. It will destroy your race. All your cattle, which cattle, whenever the word cattle or agriculture is used in all these texts, in Vedic texts, it talks about material prosperity, because that was the index of material prosperity. It was an agrarian economy. Somebody who had 1,000 cattle is a rich man. Today, somebody has some 10 cars and 20, 50, 80 site is rich man. Today, we have to use a different yardstick. That time it was cattle. It was all about agrarian and cattle references. So, when it says Pashun Gnanti, it means your material prosperity and all your thing will go. Your whole lineage will get destroyed. Never do that. Because you are a head of the institution, you are accountable for what is happening. You cannot, wash your hands away and go. And it is true for family, it is true for anything that we can apply all these in any unit of measurement. None of these will be wrong. So he says, Tani putran pashun gnanti prityartham anushasataha. So, whatever anushasana you do, you have to do it very, very carefully. If you don't do it, it will come back to you. So make sure that such things don't happen. So these are all some of the principles of justice and punishment that, Rama asks Bharata. Are these happening, and are you making sure that these governing principles of justice and punishment are taken care? Then there are some nice shlokas on intelligence gathering. Okay, look at here. Kasit sarvenu raktastvam kulaputra pradhanatah kaschit pranam stavarteshu santyajanti samahitah. See, this intelligence gathering, the first and the most important requirement is such people must show the highest level of loyalty. Otherwise, this whole process is vyartha. Loyalty is very, very important in all intelligence matters. Loyalty is the most important thing. All other things are later. So the first shloka on that talks about loyalty. He talks about what kind of people do you have in your intelligence gathering mechanism. That is the question. So he says, Kaschit sarve anuraktaha. First, they are anuraktaha. They are very attracted to you. Which means they believe in your aishwarya. They believe in your lordship. They are aligned to what you do. That's very important. Anuraktaha tvam. Kulaputraha. They should come from good pedigree. Good lineage. Background check. Reference check. We say, background check, reference check. That's Kulaputra is the word for it. They should come from good lineage. Kulaputraha pradhanataha. They should be, all these main people must be like that. Right? Then, kaschit pranam stavarteshu. Are they willing to even give up their life for you? That is the index of loyalty. That's where the loyalty is coming. He says, kaschit pranam stavarteshu santyajanti samahitaha. Are they all the time ready at any cost? We will even surrender our life for you. Such people only can do a good job of your intelligence gathering. All other people, more than the intelligence will leak also. What is flowing in will be less than what is flowing out. Right? Insider trading will happen. That is what will happen actually. So that's what he says. Are you making sure that people with good pedigree, who are very aligned and very greatly inspired by your leadership, they are willing to give up anything for you? Such people are very, very important. They are the only ones who can give you intelligence, because running a big institution needs intelligence. I am telling you, even today, even this kind of governance that we have, these principles are very important. I am sure such people who have that have better intelligence. That's why I think Subramanian Swami is able to get everything out of the system. I don't know how Assange is doing, I do not know. That's a form of intelligence gathering for WikiLeaks. Finally, they caught hold of him yesterday or day before or something like that. I think these principles are always there. It's very important to have this kind of a thing. Then he says, Kasjid Janapado Vidwan Dakshina Pratibhanavan Yatoktavadi Dutaste Krito Bharata Panditaha. Then the second thing is Janapadaha Vidwan. He must be Janapadaha. Loyalty comes one with patriotism first. He should not be from some other place. He should be from pure Janapada. So Janapadaha first of all required. He is giving now attributes of who can be your intelligence, head of intelligence. If you so to talk about, first Lakshana is Janapada. He should be from your own place. Mannina Maganu. Election so like that. So Janapada, right? Vidwan must be quite a bright mind. He must be in the know of things. Vidwan, right? Dakshinaha, Dakshabhava. Dakshinaha is one who is skillful in execution. That's called Daksha. Daksha is one who has the skill of executional excellence. A person who is a Dakshina, that's why he is called Dakshinamurti. The Daksha, executional excellence is called Daksha. Right? So Dakshinaha. Pratibhanavan. Right? He is able to quickly react. He is able to quickly react to things. He is a mind which is very quick in thinking and able to get. Yathoktavadi. Okay? What you are able to say, what has to be reported, there is no loss of communication. Communication is very important in intelligence. You understand something, come and tell something else, the whole thing is gone. That's why Yathoktavadi, Yatha Uktahavadi, he is very good in this grasping and communicate, comprehend and communicate. This Yathoktavadi Dutaha, such kind of Dutas are very, very important. They are the ones who can do a great job of intelligence gathering for you. All those lakshanas of how today you need market intelligence. Business also needs it. You need market intelligence. These lakshanas are all applicable there. You need business intelligence, you need market intelligence, you need this intelligence. In army, you need intelligence. That's what he is talking about. What kind of lakshanas are required for those who are able to grasp and all that kind of thing. Kaschid ashtadasanyeshu swapakshe dasha panchacha tribirivajnataihi astitirtani charakaihi jnataihi vatsi jnataihi vetsi. Sorry, there is a okay. So he now establishes some principles of intelligence gathering. He says, Kaschit ashtadasanyeshu. Your intelligence gathering must happen in 18 departments. Ashtadashanyeshu. In 18 departments, your intelligence gathering must happen. Swapakshe, that is as far as outside. Then Swapakshe, Dasha Panchacha, 15. So there are 3 exempted now. If intelligence gathering within your own system is 15, intelligence gathering from outside the system is 18. That's what he is saying. He is saying 18 departments of intelligence gathering when it comes to outside. It's my other country or something like that. And 15 departments on which you should have actually profound principles of administration. You see those 18 departments. Very nice. We talk about in modern parlance, we talk about checks and balances. Those checks and balances are available, are the exact those 18 departments. When I saw it, I was really stunned. Okay. So he says, and then he says, look at that is the first thing. He says 18 departments. So he should say, where are you have to collect so that the checks and balances are in place. Then look at the second sentence. In second sentence, he says, Tribihi, right? Tribi avijnataihi. He says, you get from 3 of them. And also get from 3 who are unrecognized by others. Pritak pritak. Get from 3. In modern management research, we use a word called triangulation. What we say is, it's a very nice principle. Suppose I'll give you a simple example, because instead of using all these words, technical words, I give a simple example, then you'll understand the value of this. Suppose I am interested in knowing what is the market share for a company. You know what I will do? I will first do some quick rule of thumb. Some data will be there. I'll just put together and say, oh, 20%. Johnson & Johnson market share is 20%. I will come with some quick calculation in some way. Now, one principle we always follow is what is called triangulation. We say, get the answer from 3 directions. and see whether all the three are matching. If all the three are matching, more or less you are right. It's a very nice way of making sensible estimates, decisions. This is called triangulation. So what I may do is, the second thing I will do is, I'll ask my marketing people to tell me, please tell what is the sales that you have understood from others and all that. He will come with another set of numbers. I will calculate that number and see what percentage is coming. Then I will go, and there will be some journal in which there will be some report. This says last year Johnson & Johnson was this market. Something will. So there are three different sources. One I calculated, rule of thumb. Another, I asked my marketing people to do some calculation and they came with some number. Third, I looked at some report somewhere, somebody reported. I look at these three. And if these three numbers are close to each other, I will have confidence to move forward. This is what we teach. It's called triangulation. That decision will be always right. That's exactly what Rama is saying here. He is saying, get from three people. Don't go by just one person. Get from three people, and the three people should not be known to each other. Look at the principle here. Tribihi avijñātaihi. Na vijñātaihi, avijñātaihi. Okay? Vesi tirthani charakaihi. That's such kind of intelligence gathering alone will make this job very well. Now, what are these 18 departments? That's the next question now. What are these? The second part is easy. Triangulation. Don't get information from one person, because that person would tell something which may be misleading. Therefore, get from three people. That is a better way. He also said get from 18 departments. So I checked what are these 18 departments. So the 18 departments are as follows. Okay. This is, first of all, the chief minister or the king. Paradesha, not Asmakam Paksha, Parapaksha. So the king or the chief minister or whatever. Then king's family priest. As I told you, he is very important. Kulaguru is more, because the king is going to listen to what he says. So you figure out what he is talking. He is the opinion maker. So you have to know what is going on there. So that is the second, which is family priest. Then crown prince. Okay, the prince. Right? Then the generalissimo, the general. Right? Then the chief warder. Then the chamberlain. You know, in a monarchy, the person most informed are those chamberlains. The equivalent of that is taxi driver, car drivers now. In modern parlance, they know everything because everything is discussed sitting at the back. Many people, I tell, many people don't discuss. I tell sometime, when I was a dean director, I said I will not discuss. There's some sensitive matters, unwittingly people discuss because he is party to everything now. In the same way, this chamberlain is the one, he is in the court. No? He is seeing everything, he is bringing people inside and all that. He says, Antapura, superintendent of jails, Karagara Adhyaksha, okay, chancellor of the exchequer, Dhanadhyaksha, treasury officer or whatever you want to say, RBI governor. If you take a modern parlance of that. The herald is that person in the court. Chamberlain is the Antapura. This is in the courtroom. Okay. Raja Rajya Ajnaya Ajna Peshu Vakta. So he is party to a lot of things happening. So you have to keep track of him, what is happening. So then the government advocate, attorney general, we say, no. In the modern parlance, you have the equivalent of all of these. Attorney general, then the judge, chief justice. Because this 18, if you look at these 18, that gives a pulse of what is happening in the kingdom. That is what is really happening. Okay. Then the assessor, tax assessor, or CBDT, chairman CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, the equivalent of the modern word I am using actually. Officer disbursing salary to army. Okay. Army is, person who is giving money is the most valuable, respected person in the army, I think. So the officer disbursing salary to army. Officer drawing money from the exchequer, expense secretary, not the revenue secretary, the expense secretary. City quota wala, because this is like your the commissioner of, because lot of law and order things in the city they will know actually. So Nagara Rakshaka, border security force, protector of border of kingdom, BSF, okay, ITBP, which is very important now because a lot of things happening on the China side, so ITBP kind of things. Then magistrate is different from judge. Magistrate is one who gives punishments. Judge is Nyayadisha. I mean, establishing the Chief Justice of India, I mean, higher level it goes there. A lot of things happen here. Volumes are here. So magistrate is, Dushtanam Dandana Adhikari. Correct? Then conservator of water, hills, forest, etc. This Reddy problem would have never come. This mining iron left, right, center. Look at the foresight of this shloka here. This natural wealth, you know how much of sand is being swindled in Tamil Nadu and all these riverbeds in all the states. Politicians are hand in glove with that. Natural wealth is being stolen away. That's why he says conservator of water, hills for, if they can establish 18 departments like this and then put checks and balances in modern parlance, lot of corruption would have been, I think our Lokapal and all those people must look at these shlokas. Beautifully 18 departments are mentioned here. Because there is a tendency to steal the natural wealth. That's why the last item is coming. Yeah. Very hard. That's why look at their foresight in choosing the departments. What the psychology has gone behind these 18 departments that they are talking. No, I just put it like this. I put it in, just bulleted it. Totally it is 18. Now the 15 is, so this is for the foreign country. In your own country, delete the first 3, remaining 15. Don't spy on your own king. That is not going to work. Right? So, Swapakshe Dashapancha Cha. That 15 is starting from item 3 here, item 4 here, and goes up to the second pankti also. Look at the foresight of this shloka. What kind of checks and balances you must keep? How do you make sure that, this tendency to all that is balanced out? That's what he is talking about. Very nice shloka actually. Then comes some descriptions on marks of a great city. Okay, look at this shloka. It says, Virai Radhyushitam Purvam Asmakam Tata Purvakaihi Satyanabam Tridadwaram Hastyashvarata Sankulam Brahmane Kshatriyair Vaishyaih Swakarma Niratai Sada Jitendriyair Mahotsahaih Vritamarye Sahasrashah Prasadair Vividakarai Vritam Vaidya Janakulam Kaschit Sumuditam Spitam Ayodhyam Parirakshasi. He describes how Ayodhya should be. And are you protecting that Ayodhya? See, the question he is asking. Now he is talking about Ayodhya. In other words, he's talking about the capital city now. Now, what are all things he is saying? He is saying, Virehi Uddushitam. Purvam Asmakam Virehi Uddushitam. Tata Purvakaihi. This city was nourished, nurtured, brought out by our ancestors. They have brought it in a particular way. Understand that first. Because there is this huge tendency, I am seeing it not only in cities. I find there are some temples which are being demolished and rebuilt. I am not a great lover of that. Because we are demolishing history and timestamp. And then they put, somehow, personally, I am not very, the heritage must be preserved at all costs and it be taken. So that is what he is communicating here first. First, understand there is value to this time, tested heritage. that speaks of our past in many ways. They are the real monuments. In many ways, they communicate without verbal communication. So he says, Asmabhihi purvakaihi samyak udyushitam. Understand that. Don't completely change this and that and get something new. That is the implied thing there. First, Satyanamam, true to Satyanamam, true to its name. It is a great city. Dridadwaram. It is well protected by, firmly it is protected. Dridadwaraha. Dridadwaram. Hasti, Ashwa, Ratha, Sankulam. Hasti is elephant. Ashwa is horse. Ratha is chariot. What it says is, its security is well preserved. There is no worry of fear of anything, of any adversarial thing that can happen on the city. Okay. Hasti, Ashwa, Ratha, Sankulam. Then look at the next line. Brahmanaihi, Kshatriyaihi, Vaishyaihi, Swakarma Nirataihi Sada. A city must be a very peaceful place for people to engage in what they have to do. Enable that. That is a mark of a great city. Each has their own role to play. They should be without fear or favor, very comfortably, they should be able to do what they have to do. There should not be any kind of this, adversarial things and things which disturb me. So, Swakarma Nirataihi Sada. They are not worried. They are very peaceful. They have their own line of thought and business and things to do, and they do. Vaishyaha, what they have to do, let them do. Kshatriyaha, what they have to do, let them do. Brahmanaha, what they have to do, they let them do. If all the three, they do all that, the Karmakaraha will do what they have to do. That is implied. Because they provide the leadership for the employees in many ways. So can a city ensure that? Those are the marks of a city. Not whether you have, how many tall buildings you have. That it's never spoken. They're also coming a little bit at the back, but these are very important. Then he says, Jitendriyaihi Mahotsahaihi Vritam Aryaihi Sahasrashah. This city is the culmination of some of the greatest people. Thousands of great people. Who are these great people? Aryaihi, Jitendriyaihi. They will bring balance to the city. Jitendriyaha. They are not going to be easily tossed by these, small little temptations here and there. Such people bring balance to the city. The first line, he talks about people who are into the thick of activity. The second line talks about people who are nothing but wise, people who are nothing but wisdom. Such people must be there in the city. They bring balance to the city. When something happens, they bring balance to the city. So he says, Jitendriyaihi Mahotsahaihi, Mahan Utsahaha Vartate. Aryaihi Sahasrashah. Thousands of such people must be there in the city. That city is good. Prasadaihi Vividakaraihi Vritam Vaidya Janakulam Prasadaihi Vividakaraihi. Good buildings. Different types of buildings, aesthetically nice buildings, let them all be there. They are put in the order, pecking order a little down. But they are also there. Okay? So he says, Prasadaihi Vividakaraihi Vritam Vaidya Janakulam. Here, Vaidya Jana is not, here the meaning is different. Ye Viduhu te Vaidyaha. It's actually a Tadita. Knowledgeable people. That is the Vaidya here. It is not the health. There it was health. Here the interpretation is not that. Vaidya Jana Akulam. A lot of wise people around. Nice buildings, nice different types of buildings. Lot of wise people who are all part of it. Kasit Samuditam Spitam. Samuditam. It's all cheerful. Spitam prosperous. Ayodhyam Parirakshasi. Are you able to maintain Ayodhya like this? By asking this question, he has described what a good city is all about. That is how he brought, so our smart city project also must look at this and say, do we have these lakshanas of a great city? Then he talks about not only the capital city, because this is the biggest problem in modern governance. Karnataka andre Bangalore nalli ella agate. You go 50 kilometers away from Bangalore, there is not much happening. Similarly, you take India, national capital region. Take Tamil Nadu, only Madras, like that. So he talks about not only just this, he spreads it. So I call it urban development and citizen welfare, because such issues are there in this shloka. So what does it say? Kaschit chaitya shatay jushtaha sunivishta janakulaha devasthanai prabhabhischa tatakaischopashobitaha prahrishta naranarikaha samajotsav-shobitaha sukrushta sima pashuman himsa-biparivarjitaha adeva matriko ramyaha shopadai parivarjitaha परित्यक्तो भयै सर्वैः कनिभिश्चोपशोभितः विवर्जितो नरै पापैः मम पूर्वैः सुरक्षितः कश्चित् जनपदस्फीतः सुखं वसति राघव. Now he is talking about Janapada, not about the city. Janapada is where a lot of people live, which is you are stretching out of the city now. So the first set of shlokas talked about big city. Second set of slots talks about Mofussil area, not the city area, Janapada. That's why last line in this set of shlokas says, Kaschit Janapataha Spitaha Sukham Vasati. Are people peacefully living in urban and Mofussil areas? And again, all those are there. He says, Kaschit Chaitya Shatai Jushtaha. Wealthy, good people, Sunivishta Janakula, Sunuvishta, with the right kind of thinking and the right kind of purpose and all that, such kind of people are there, right? Devasthanaihi, lot of temples are very important. Devasthanaihi, Prabhabhischa, Tatakaischa Upashobitaha. Lot of water bodies are required. Our greatest contribution in Bangalore in the last 20 years is they have destroyed all the water bodies, and there is a format to it. First, dry up the lake, make it a Parambo, and then the MLA takes it and becomes a Karorpati. This is the model. Huh? Yeah. But Bangalore had some 3,000 lakes. I am particularly saying because 3,000. Sir, just in front of IAM there was a lake. And there's a petrol bunk after that. Rajakalwe, there was a lake. 2 lakes I know here itself. After I came only 25 years back. So 27 years back, I found those lakes. Not gone. There is nothing. Lake. Very so. Tatakaischa upashobitaha prahrishta naranarikaha. Naranarikaha prahrishtaha. They are happy. The ladies and the gents are very happy. Naranarikaha prahrishtaha samaja utsava shobitaha. Lot of social festivals. There today in villages still it is happening. Well, I think some of these have not been drying up that easily. It is still happening. Only the big cities we have given up all the culture in the name of some modernity. So he says samaja utsava shobitaha. Sukrishta Sima Pashuman Himsa-bihi Parivarjitaha. All these borders are all well. All kinds of pashus, other kind of animals are not generating any fear. Things are kept under control. Parivarjitaha. Aveda matriko ramyaha Shopadai Parivarjitaha. He says that Aveda makritaha is the agriculture land. Avedam is agricultural actually. So you have nice agricultural lands, right? Swapadaihi parivarjita. The animals which come and eat away all these agricultural produce, they are all kept away, which means things happen very well. The food security is also taken care. That's a swapadai parivarjita. Parityaktaha bhayaihi sarvaihi. People are rid of fear. It's very, very important. Parityaktaha bhayaihi sarvaihi. Kanibhischopashobitaha, upashobitaha, right? Kanibhish upashobitaha, which is with a lot of mines. Kani is mines, because natural wealth for some of the things. Kanibhish upashobitaha. Vivarchitaha narai papaihi. people are rid of sins. When things are very well, security is there, enough to eat, I'm able to do what I am supposed to, make my living. If all these happen, the chances of crimes will have to come down. There is no purpose for crimes. Today there is purpose for crimes because a politician says, I will take some thousands and thousands of crores and then go away and then leave all these. That's why all these happening. So he says, Vivarjitaha narai papaihi mama purvai. That is how my ancestors have protected this land, developed this land like that. So are you doing that? So like that, he's talking about these urban areas, out of the cities, such kind of shlokas are there. Then there are some shlokas on business development and economic growth. Actually, there are shlokas like that. Look at here. Kaschitte dayita sarve krishigo raksha jivinah vartayam samshritastata loko hi sukamedhate. See, krishi go rakshana is an indication of economic activity at that time. Because it was an agrarian economy. You should replace it with, development of factory. There is the equivalent word you have to use. But the moment this word is used, Krishi Go Raksha Jivinaha, which means the traders, the people who run the economic development. That's why these Chatur Ashramas are so beautifully actually conceptualized. They have vitiated it in many ways. They thought all the four are very important pillars. Somebody must bring knowledge, somebody must protect, somebody must bring trade, somebody must partake in the physical work. With none, even if you remove one of the leg, the thing will fall. So he says, Daita Sarve, they are all very important people. Who? Krishi Go Raksha Jivinaha. Vartayam Shamshitaha Tata Loka Hi Sukamedate. Only in their prosperity lies the prosperity of the world. Understand that. They are a very critical link for the society. Don't underestimate, is what he is saying. Then he says, Tesham Gupta Pariharaihi Kaschitte Bharanam Kritam Rakshya Hiragya Dharmena Sarve Vishaya Vasinaha. Tesham, such business people, those who bring that element of prosperity which is required for the society. Gupta Pariharaihi. Gupta means which is unmanifested. Gupta's secret is one meaning. Another is unexpected adversary. Suddenly some adversaries, there is Gupta. It was not known. Some calamities, some adversaries can happen. Have you done parihara for that? You have to take care. Correct. So, exactly. Non-market Daivam Chatra Pancham. So, certain adversities can happen. Are you taking care? Because this is the ease of doing business. This is one way of ease of doing business. Actually, make it little comfortable for them. Otherwise, things are not going to work. Kachite Bharanam Kritam. Have you done maintenance of all these properly? Because they are very important leg of the society. So, have you taken care of that? Right? Rakshyahi Rajna Dharme Sarve Vishayavasinaha. You must protect all these people must be protected with dharma because they bring that critical element of value to the society. Have you taken care of all that? Which means, make business easy for them to do. Ease of doing business is very important. Take care of them. Adversities are there. You have to have a safety net for all that. Have you done all that? Those kinds of things are coming through these shlokas. Kaschid Nagavanam Guptam, Kaschitte Santi Denukaha, Kaschin Naganika Shwanam, Kunjaranam Chatrupsesi. It's a very nice shloka. He says, Kaschid Nagavanam Guptam, Kaschitte Santi Denukaha. He says, have you taken, protected the, here Gupta is protection. Here, have you protected the Nagavan where, you rear all these elephants and so on? Then Kaschitte Santi Denukaha. Again, this cattle is an index of economic prosperity. That's what we have to understand. Denuka is always a mention of, because, agrarian economy and this is key variable, whatever you call it. Yeah. So kaschit santi tenukaha, enough cow milking cows do you have? Then he says, look at the next one is very interesting. He says kaschit na, there is a na also there. Kaschit na ganika ashwanam kuncharanam cha tripsesi. Here ganika is female elephant, kunjara is male elephant, and ashwa is horse. He says, don't get satisfied with the number of male and female elephants, which means growth. He says you should never be satisfied with what you have. You need to aspire for growth. It's very, very important. He says, that is what he is saying here. Kaschin na tripsisi. I hope you are not satisfied, because the moment you are satisfied, all these come to a grinding halt. Your prosperity, economic prosperity will come to a grinding halt. Don't get satisfied with the number of male and female elephants and horses that you have. You have to grow them, because elephants are required for fighting. This is like our number of F-16 and Rafale and all that. That is the equivalent here. The more you have elephants and horses, you are powerful in your deterrence. And the more you have, that's why that's all. So don't get satisfied with that. Develop the power of deterrence. That is a prosperity for you. So that is what he is saying here. I think I will stop here. It goes on and on. There are very nice shlokas there. Maybe one more I will take. Let me see what is the next theme. Okay, just the treasury alone, 2 shlokas we will take, and probably we will stop there. He says, Ayaste vipula kaschit alpataro vyayah apatreshu jana kaschit kesho gacchati raghava. He says, what is happening to your budget? Is it a deficit budget or a surplus budget? That's the first question he is asking. Because he says, ayaha is income. Ayaha te vipulaha is plenty. Your income must be good. Vipulaha. Kaschit alpataraha vyayaha. Your expenses, in other words, are you making a surplus budget? What budget? Are you making, nyai schemes and so many schemes, and then eternally, put us into a deficit budget forever? What are you doing? Are you making sure that your income is more and your expenses are alpataraha, means under the control of the income? Apatreshu nate kaschit kosho gacchati raghava. There are many ways to understand it. The popular translation I find in all the books is, I trust your treasure does not go to undeserving person. I don't understand it like that. My understanding is, don't give your treasury management to a person who is incompetent, who will destroy your treasury. Apatra, for me, gacchati means doesn't go. I don't mean a literal meaning. Have a good person as your treasury manager. That is what I understand from that. Treasury management is all about a very credible person with high integrity. Are you having them, or you have fellows who will, fence will eat the crop? So that is what he is actually bringing that. Then devatarte cha pitrarte brahmanabhyagateshu cha yodheshu mitra vargeshu kaschid gacchati te vyayah. You must spend very wisely. What you spend on people must be people who are worthy of spending. They will only, make you much better, make your activities much better. So he gives a list of people. He says, spend only for this. Don't unnecessarily spend. So what he says, devatarte. Because devan bhavetanena te deva bhaveyanto hai. So first you have to spend for the right cause of propitiating the gods. Devatarte, pitrarte. For your ancestors, you must spend. That is a right spending that you can do. Pitrarte, Brahmana abhyagateshu cha. Such high standards of Brahmins, which I already talked about, you must spend, because their blessings are true blessings for you. They are the ones who will actually take care of your well-being sitting elsewhere. So that's why that is saying, Yodeshu, spend on the military properly. Take care of the military. Very, very important. Nowadays, that thinking is much better than what we have seen in the last 60 years, actually. So, Yodeshu, Mitra Vargeshu. That's all. Unless Anyatra, don't spend your money. That's what he's saying here. I think we'll stop here. It's already 7 o'clock, so I want to strictly stop here, because this Sarga will go. There are one more session we will do. Because there are so many nice things in this Sarga itself, which we will see. We will tell the Mangala Shloka and then we will stop here. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo sukamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarahito brahmana santu nirbhayah aputra putrinas santu pautrinah adhana sadhana santu jivantu sharadam shatam shrinvan ramayanam bhaktya yappadam padame bhava sayati brahmanastanam brahmana pujyate sada hari om. So today is Ramanavami. So there are many different people have brought a lot of prasada today. I think we must partake all the prasadas. You can skip your dinner if it is too much. That is okay. Or this prasada is so good that we can still have dinner. For all those who are on the Zoom, we will have prasada on their behalf also. But the blessings will be anyway to them also. With this, I think we will close.